Hey guys, it's Sam from Mandarin Duck. I hope you're all doing well. Today, finally, I am going to be talking about this. The Raider. An absolute dream bow of mine. So, this is an ILF riser. It is, quite frankly, stunning. I personally love a dark finish, and I may get some lighter limbs, but for now, because I'm such a big bamboo fanboy, I'm happy with the splinter limbs that we have on it. So in this, I'm going to be talking about the riser and the limbs, because for me personally, I don't know about the rest of you, but just for me, I find it really difficult to talk about an ILF setup if it's not a full setup. I can say this riser is really nice to hold, but is it still nice to hold when I'm shooting it? And if I'm shooting it, then I obviously need to take into account the limb set up with it. So the fact that this is both Mandarin Duck for me makes this so much easier. The riser comes in two colors, a quite frankly stunning light blue, and it was very difficult for me to decide which color I actually wanted. All this, the black, a really nice smooth black finish. As a modern riser that is cast forged and not just CNC'd, it has taps for your sights, it has taps for an arrow rest if you want it, it's got a tap for a stabilizer, or possibly for you to use this while you're bow fishing if it's legal, or if you're going somewhere where you can bow fish. You have the ILF adjustments around the riser. These are really nice. Personally, I love the curves that run throughout this bow. I absolutely love where the limb joins onto the actual riser. I love that shape. And the fact that it is just so easy. Now, I have had to adjust the limb fittings on both sides, so yeah, you are going to have to do stuff out of the box. The riser, the grip of the riser is something that when I initially got it out of the box, I thought I would have some issues with, but shooting with this has actually been really comfortable. Now, I said in a previous video that if I had to choose between this bow and the Devourer, I would choose the Devourer. That was really the wrong decision to make, or at least the question was flawed, because while I love the Devourer, it's such an easy bow to pick up, the Raider really matches what the Devourer can do with a few extras. Now yes, this is a heavier bow, of course it is. It is a solid metal riser. Even with the weight saving cutouts, it's still a fair old chunk in your hand. But the grip, surprisingly, lets me hold 5 arrows, 6 arrows, while I'm getting ready to shoot, which is something I didn't think I'd be able to do with this bow, and it's something that I actually prefer to do. Now, I've experimented with a ton of different quivers. I have quivers that will lock onto the limbs of the bow, or lock onto the bow, or have on my back, or my hip, whatever. But none of that really feels as comfortable to me as just holding the arrows in my hand. And this bow really lets me do it so comfortably. I don't feel, when I'm holding all these, that this is a strain. This sort of pistol grip is something that's really comfortable with or without holding arrows at the same time. Now, I've got this set up for my shooting preference, which is always off the shelf, but I have shot this with an arrow rest, and it's just as comfortable holding the arrows and shooting. It's a bow that really loves to give you those options. Now, personally, I think when you're just starting out in archery, options with your bow is always going to be a good thing. I absolutely adore the Black Hunter, and I will recommend it for most people. However, the Black Hunter doesn't give you the option of adding sights or stabilizers if you want them, or an arrow rest or things like that. However, The Raider does. The Raider is a tough bow. There is no mistaking that. The weight is a dead giveaway for just how sturdy this bow can get. And while in a previous video I did say that this is a much more aggressive bow than I had anticipated, it's only really aggressive when you compare it to a bow like the Devourer. When you just take this bow by itself, it's no more aggressive than any other bow I think I've shot.
Okay, James, what is your opinion?
Well, I love them both. I do. And it's hard to distinguish between the two because they both shoot very, very differently. So even though they're both 30-pound bows, yeah, this one feels like it packs more of a punch.
Okay, the Raider.
The Raider, because of the recurved limbs, I would imagine, and because of the heavier weight. Yeah, this one feels a bit more casual, but is incredibly good fun and easy to manage.
Okay, so the Devourer is a lot kinder.
Yes.
Whereas the Raider feels...
Packs a whole lot more punch for the same.
It does. It feels serious.
So, yeah, I can't say I suppose it depends on what takes.
Now that, of course, is down to the limbs, I believe. It's not just down to the riser, and these limbs are the splinter limbs. These are bamboo, because I am a bamboo fanboy and I love bamboo with my bows and everything else. But there is just such a simple pleasure to shooting this bow. And it's not just that I can take this bow into the woods. It's that I can take this to the fields. It's that I can take this to garden shooting if I must. It's that if I'm going to go for international competitions, I could happily take this bow with me and know that I can go toe to toe with everyone else if my actual skill is good enough. There is a caveat for that. If I fail, it's on me. It's not on the bow. But there we are. That is the point where we're at. It is such a beautiful bow. The blue version is such an eye-popping, stunning piece of gear. The fact that this is ILF means that you can mix and match. So if you've got your preferred limbs, you can very easily stick them on yourself. Now, while the blue version of this bow is absolutely stunning, I wouldn't call it a flashy bow, if that makes sense. I wouldn't say that this bow, the black version, is a flashy bow. But the fine level of detail that comes with such a beautiful riser, a curvaceous riser, the Mandarin Duck stamp that comes just above the grip, the fact that if you don't like a pistol grip, you could very easily swap this one out to one that's more suited, and you've still got a fantastic riser at the end of it. This bow is all about options. It's tough, it's sturdy. If you want to shoot in fields, in muck, in woodlands, in a garden, if you want to go into competitions, if you want any kind of archery, this bow is going to give you that option to do it. I prefer not to shoot with sights, but if I ever want to put them on here, I've got that option. I prefer to hold the arrows in my hand, but if I want a bow mounted quiver, I can absolutely have that option. If I want to swap out the grip on the riser, it's something I can do very easily. This is a bow that gives you options. Links will be down below. I hope you're all keeping well, and I will see you next time. Take care.